Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope all of you are doing well. So guys, in today's video we'll see an industry ready example of Jenkins CICD pipeline where we'll see how we'll integrate Jenkins with Nexus SonarQube, and we'll also build a sample application. We'll deploy it to Tomcat server, and in this video we'll see how we'll create stages according to an industry ready example. So let's start our today's video. Okay, so in today's video, we'll see what build tool actually is. I have explained these things in my previous videos also, but those who are new, for them, I always place these content repeatedly so that there may be any confusion in their mind that why we are doing this, what is build tool. So I always start everything from scratch. So this is a complete end-to-end example, and in the end, you'll actually learn how we make CI/CD pipeline in industry, and this is an end-to-end example where we'll do an artifact upload after building of the application. Then we'll do some kinds of code analysis using SonarQube, and the build that got created will deploy it to one of the servers. So we'll also see how we can integrate Tomcat with it, and everything is automated. We are not doing any manual steps. So I have installed Nexus, SonarQube, Jenkins, everything pre-installed. So if you are having any confusion that how to install Jenkins or how to install Nexus or SonarQube, so I have created separate videos in my Jenkins playlist. You can refer that video. So today we are having all those pre-installed, and I'll use all those pre-installed set. So in this video we'll see build tool introduction first, then we'll see one of the build tool, that is Maven build tool, and then we'll see what Nexus is, and there will be an introduction of SonarQube for code analysis. Then we'll build a sample application from Java based code using Maven, and we'll also test that application, the JUnit test cases that are written for that application. So we'll be using that, and then once it get passed with Sonar analysis gateway, then we'll create a package of that application, and after that we'll install Tomcat, and this installation is also automated. So I have placed certain files on my repository so that we can use those files, and we can also automate Tomcat installation. Post completion of that, the package that got built in the app package stage will deploy that application to that Tomcat server, and will access that application and use that sample application. So in this way, in industry or in live projects, we create CI/CD pipeline, and all these tools integrate with that CI/CD pipeline. Okay, so now firstly understand what build tool actually is. So build tools are commonly known as programs that automate the process of building an executable application from source code. So why we do this? Because source code is written in plain language. So that language may be any, maybe Java, maybe any other language. So that code directly cannot be deployed to the server, and application cannot be accessible directly with that source code. So firstly, we need to create a bundle from that source code. So what we can say that the inputs that we provided using source code, we need to generate a desired executable output that can be easily deployed to any server so that we can access our application. So this building process includes activities like linking, compiling, packaging, and there may be other activities also in order to make that raw source code into an executable form. So there are multiple build tools available in market. It depends which language you are using, and what you are trying to build using that language. Accordingly, we need to pick up a particular build tool. So some build tools examples, as you can see on your screen, it is Apache Ant, Apache Maven, Gradle. There are multiple other build tools also, but in our today's video we'll use Apache Maven as a build tool. Okay, so Maven is one of the build tool that is from Apache side. And what Maven actually is, Maven is one of the build tool that is based on POM. So POM is project object model. It mainly used for Java based project. Developers just provide us the source code. Along with that, they provide us second thing, that is test cases. And with those test cases, we are also having one of the file in the same directory structure where we are having source code. That file is pom.xml. So the backbone of all this build is this pom.xml. Everything is written in this pom.xml file, like which tool is used to achieve which stage of SDLC model. And Maven, what it actually do, it actually reads this pom.xml file and resolve dependencies of the project. So Maven firstly validate whether all the dependencies are available on locally to the machine where we are running those Maven command. If not, then it will get connected first to the central repository, and then it will download all the dependencies, and then the Maven command that we are trying to execute will get performed only once those dependencies are available locally. So Maven works in this way. So now let us understand what is the software build process, complete software build process. So there are multiple phases during software build process. So different tool is used to achieve each phase, and which tool is used for which phase, everything is defined under this pom.xml file. So in our today's example, certain tools are getting used. Those tools may be similar to the one that you are going to use in your projects, or maybe that is different, but the architecture or the structure will remain same. So when we have to build any sample application, then certain stages needs to be passed in software build process. So we need to do compilation, we need to do code review, test cases, test case reports, code coverage, packaging. So compilation, basically here we need to use some kind of compiler. In code review, we can either use PMD or SonarQube. In today's example, we'll be using SonarQube for code review. Test cases that are written for our source code is in JUnit, and we'll use Surefire plugin in order to generate test case reports. And code coverage is done using Cobertura in our pop.xml file, and packaging will do that will generate a kind of application.war. So I'll show you what is this pom.xml file and how it actually looks, and how all these tools are defined under the pom.xml file. So now firstly, let us understand that what is there in software code that is provided by developer. So developer provide us one folder, that is source folder. In the same directory structure, we are having one more file, that is pom.xml file. Inside source folder, we have two another folder. One is main folder, one is test folder. Main folder basically contains Java source code. Test folder contains test cases. So this snippet clearly shows that there is one directory, that is source, and in the same directory level we are having fourth file, that is pom file, and inside this source directory we are having two folder, that is main folder and test folder. So once we'll do it practically, I'll show you the same directory structure, how it actually looks like. And now let's see how different build tools are declared in pom.xml file. So this is basically the file, that is an XML file which looks like this, where we can clearly see that there are multiple dependencies related tags are defined, and we can clearly see there is a testing tab where we are seeing JUnit. In the reporting we are seeing Surefire report, and in one of the plugin we are seeing Cobertura. So in this way, all the dependencies and everything is clearly defined in pom.xml. Once Maven read it, it found out, okay, which tool is used for which purpose. Okay, so I need this kind of dependencies available on local machine, then only Maven command can be performed. So firstly Maven get it download from central repository, and then it will perform Maven command that is required to achieve that particular stage. Okay, so now let's understand that what Maven commands will do and when we have to execute them one by one. So we'll not use multiple commands related to Maven, just simple commands will do it here. So we'll use ambient compile command in order to compile your code. Once your code is get successfully compiled, there will be a target folder created. Inside that folder we'll be having classes folder, and this classes folder is having .class files. As those who are having Java background, so they might relate these things, that once compilation is done in Java, we have those class files generated, .class files. So it is same way it is getting generated here using Maven. And if we want to get it test, we can use ambient test command. So it will generate surefire-reports folder under target directory, which will contain test case report. And if we want to get create bundle, that is an executable form of the raw code, so we need to use ambient package command. Once compilation and testing successfully complete, we can execute ambient package command, and it will create an application.war kind of file in the same target directory, which is actually the file that we are going to deploy on our Tomcat server. And there is a fourth command, ambient clean verify command. So combination of compile, test, package is the ambient clean verify command, but I'll separate out these three commands because you will not be able to understand that what is getting happen if I simply run ambient clean verify command. So I'll run this command in the and it will perform all three stage, but I'll show you separately which stage is doing what using Maven compile, Maven test and Maven package. And in the fourth command we are using sonar kernel sonar. So this particular command we'll use in order to perform SonarQube analysis to our code, and the result will get populated to SonarQube portal. Okay, now let's understand what Nexus repository is. So Nexus is basically a kind of a repository manager. So why we use it? We basically use it in order to store tested code, and anybody who just want to get it download and can want to deploy it to the server, they can deploy it to the server and further perform testing just like load testing or any other testing that is separated from unit testing, which we have applied in our ambient test command. So this is basically what we can say a versionized version of build that is successfully tested is placed on this particular portal, and any developer who is having access to this repository manager to that particular repository can easily download the code and can deploy to the server and can perform multiple different kind of testing. So there are three types of repositories in Nexus for each build and package manager tool. The package manager tool can be either Maven, npm or etc. But in our case we are going to use Maven. So there are three types of repository, out of which one is hosted repository. This is basically a repository where we store our artifacts. So what are artifacts? Artifacts are nothing other than the end result that are going to perform after packaging. So that may be either tar, that may be either war, that may be either zip, maybe some images. These kinds of content are known as artifacts. So this is private to organization, not publicly available. Our application.war post successful build will be placed here. What is the advantage? Fully tested and versionized build will be available all the time, and developers can take it and can further do testing on this particular tested build. Second is the proxy one. This is very important repository. So this is basically a repository which is linked to remote repository. This can also be called a mirror to remote repository. Usually in organization, each machine cannot have access to the public sites. So these machines reach out to public site using a proxy, and which is also not a public site, but it is a kind of central site for internal organization. So that is also an internal, because if we are getting connecting to public sites, so there may be some kind of vulnerable content or some kind of unusual content can come to our environments. So basically company block that access of public sites to that particular machines that we are going to use. So what we do, we configure a proxy. So that proxy will get connect to the company's central server, and it will download those dependencies and will store it as a cache to the proxy server. And whenever developer request or whenever they make any connection request to this proxy server, it will get download to cache, and from cache it will get download to local machine of developer, and then it will get served as a dependency. So what is the advantage? That first time it will get it download to cache, from next time the result will get provided from the cache itself. Every time it will not go to central repository and will download and then will store to cache and then will provide to developer. So it saves time and network bandwidth for each similar type of request, second request onwards. Okay, now there is a third repository, that is a group repository, which are basically going to use an organization. So it's a combination of both hosted and proxy repository. Advantage is that we don't need to give any individual URL hosted or proxy, rather we'll just give one URL in configuration. So as we can see this picture, hosted URL is having /hosted as a context root, proxy is having /proxy, and group is having /group. So we'll just provide /group in our in configuration, and that will do the work of hosted and proxy itself. So this we can also see from this diagram also. Developer will get connect to proxy repository, and that proxy repository will further connect to the central repository, will download the content and will place it to the cache, and then it will get served to developer. Okay, now see what is SonarQube. So installation of SonarQube and Nexus I'll place in description, so you can use that installation step and you can install them. So once you install SonarQube, you will be landing to this page. So here firstly we need to create a local project, and in local project we need to provide a local project display name, project key, branch name, and then we need to click on next. After that, we need to use global setting, and once that is done, we can just click on create project. So in this way, we can create a new project in SonarQube, and that project will have all the analysis related information within it. So I have placed one separate video for SonarQube where I have explained everything in detail. So this video will not be that much detail for SonarQube, rather I'll give a practical example complete end to end. And I have also created one video for Nexus that is having detailed Nexus video in my playlist. So those who are not having any idea about these two tools, so you can get an idea using those videos, but I'm not placing that complete content here in this video because unnecessary this video will become too long. So once we'll create the project, we need to select how we want to analyze our repository. So we'll be using with Jenkins, and then we'll select GitHub because our repository will be on GitHub. And once we'll click on Maven because our build tool is Maven, then it will give us a Jenkins file content. So this basically is a function that we are going to use in order to perform code analysis, and we'll be using this command. We'll modify this command so that I'll show you once we'll do it practically how we can modify it according to our setup. And once this is done, we need to generate one token from SonarQube. So we just need to go to the username, then need to go to my accounts, and here we just need to click on security. Inside that, we need to give any name of the token, and then we can select the token type, and we can select the expiry, how long we want to get it enabled. Then we can click on generate. Once it got generated, we can copy this token, and this token we're going to use in order to perform SonarQube analysis. So we'll store it at credential, or Jenkins credentials will be storing it. After that, we'll install Apache Tomcat. So Apache Tomcat is one of the popular web server and servlet container for Java code. So Apache Tomcat by default run on 8080 port, but Jenkins also run on 8080 port. So I'm using a single machine in order to install all these setups. So that's why I'll modify the port number of Tomcat from 8080 to 8082 so that we can easily access this Apache Tomcat, and there will be no port conflict between Apache Tomcat and your Jenkins. So what we need to do in order to install Apache Tomcat, there are certain Linux commands we need to perform. So we need to perform sudo apt-update, then we need to install Java as a prerequisite, we need to create certain directories, certain permissions we need to change, then we need to download installer, and after that we need to get untar of this tar package, and then we need to change the ownership of this particular folder. Once that is done, there are two files you can see in these commands, that is tomcat-user.xml and context.xml. So these two files I'll place on my repository because there are certain modifications required in these files. So I have already modified and I have placed on my repository. So I'll use it so that we can automate it and we don't need to do manual efforts in order to install it. And once that is done, we'll start our Apache instance. So I'll tell you in my next slides what is the modification that I did for tomcat-users and what the modification I have done for context.xml file. So we need to edit these two files in Apache configuration, tomcat-user.xml. So one entry needs to be added here. So here we need to provide username, password, along with some roles needs to be enabled so that we can access the GUI portion of Tomcat. So this particular tag we need to add. I have already added in the file and shared on my repository. And in context.xml, we need to comment out this particular section. So this is basically an entry that's already there. So we'll just use this not hyphen hyphen and hyphen hyphen arrow. So this is the comment out way for this particular context.xml file. So I did this modification and placed it on my repository. Okay, so after that we'll create a Jenkins file. So in my previous videos I have explained multiple times how we can create this declarative CICD pipeline, but those who don't know about it, so let me explain it so that you'll be able to understand, because this is one of the final example in my Jenkins playlist, and post completion of that I'll try to move on some other tool. Maybe it will be a Terraform tool, or maybe it's a Docker or Kubernetes one. So I'm explaining it again so that you can correlate that how this Jenkins pipeline is getting created and how it actually works. So we'll start with a sample pipeline code from Jenkins console, and we'll use that code and we'll modify it according to that. So on a big picture, what we actually do, this pipeline is the code starting, then we have agent any. If we want to run anything on the same machine, we use any. If we don't want to run all on same machine, we can use agent none, and then we can specify label of our slave. So those who are not aware about Jenkins slave architecture and Jenkins slave concept, so I have created multiple videos related to that in my Jenkins playlist. So go over those videos so you'll have an idea of Jenkins master slave architecture. But this is not an master slave architecture, it's an standalone architecture. So we can as of now keep that architecture related concept aside. And then we need to create stages. Inside these stages we create stage, we need to give stage name, and in steps we need to provide the command. So in this way one stage is completed, and we can create another stage, third stage, multiple stage we can create one after another, and in this way we'll grow our pipeline. So our first stage will be the checkout code. So I'll do a repository piece here, and then I'll do checkout code from there. So this repository is having everything over there. I'll do checkout from there, and then I'll perform next step. So first stage will be checkout code. So this command I'll let you know how I have generated this command. So we'll generate it during practical demo. Second stage will be install Maven build tool. So this is nothing else, just we are going to download its binary, and then we'll do an untar of this binary, and we are not going to set any environment variable for this. We'll just use its bin directory in order to run Maven commands. After that we'll compile our sample code. So whenever we need to do a Maven compile piece, we need to sit on the directory where we are having pom.xml file. So our pom.xml file will be here in this location, var lib jenkins workspace test address book main, and from there we'll run ambient compile. So next stage will be test sample application. So there we'll just change the command with ambient test, rather all the things will remain same. And here I'm using this package sample application stage, but actually we don't use packaging first. We firstly do analysis using SonarQube, and once that is successful, then we'll go to use this packaging sample application step. So in practical demo, I'll create sequentially the way that we use in live projects. And once packaging is done, so packaging is also having similar command, just like for testing and compilation, only we will change the command as ambient package, not ambient test. Then once the packaging is done, we need to upload the artifacts to Nexus. So for Nexus, this command, I'll tell you how we'll generate this particular command. So we'll generate it using Jenkins documentation. So I'll do it once we'll do it practically. So I'll show you how we can generate it. Once this is done, then the SonarQube related stage that I'll put it prior to the packaging stage. So here these commands also is getting used one function, that is with SonarQube environment. So I'll let you know from where we'll get this function, and we'll use this function, and by using this function we'll scan our code using SonarQube. So that I'll show you how we can create this stage and how we can create these commands. So once SonarQube installation will complete, then we'll install our Apache Tomcat server. So I'll use those commands that I have discussed. Only one command I'll add here is a sudo sed command. So this is basically a command in order to change the port from 80 to 8081 in this particular server.xml file. But as we are using Nexus, so Nexus use port 8081. So what I'll do, I'll change this port from 8081 to 8082 so that it should not get contradict with Nexus. As Nexus is having 81 now, 82 will be for Tomcat and 80 will be for Jenkins. And once that is done and our build is completed, we'll deploy that build to web apps directory of Apache Tomcat server. So this is basically a deployment in case of Tomcat server. So we'll copy that particular var and we'll put it in web apps, and we'll restart our Tomcat server, and we'll try to access that whether that application is accessible or not. So guys, this was the theory. So this is the complete example, because in my previous video I just break out all these concepts so that we can understand single tool in deep, and now we'll do a complete practical demo end to end using a sample application deployment. Okay guys, so I have installed Jenkins. So this is basically our Jenkins dashboard. I have also installed Nexus. So this is basically our Nexus repository manager. Similarly, I have also installed SonarQube. So this is basically our SonarQube dashboard. So in order to install these tools, I'll place instruction in description so that you can install it. But still you have doubt in any of these tools, so I have created separate videos. So just refer to those videos, how to install Jenkins, how to install Sonatype Nexus, and how to install SonarQube, so that you can easily install these tools. And post installation of that, you can proceed just like I'm proceeding in this example. So the repository that I took reference, so you can also search that repository on Google. Just type address book and then Maven, and once you'll type it, you'll get one of the repository link, that is simple address book example application. So the code is here placed. So this is basically the code that has been developed by someone else. So I'm not the developer of this code, so I'll just use this code and I'll build this application, test this application, create artifact, and then upload artifact of this application. So what I did, this is the source code, but along with this source code I need to place certain other files related to Tomcat. So I cannot upload anything on this repository because this will not allow. So what I did, I have created one separate repository for my account. I use this code. Along with this code, I have placed my files over there. So if you want to get details of this code, what this code actually is, so you can go to this particular link and you can get idea about this particular address book application code. So the repository that we'll be using in our example is this particular repository. So this repository I have created, where I have copied that code and placed it here. And why I did it, because I not only need this particular code, but in order to make Tomcat also integrate in this, I just need tomcat-users.xml file, and I also need one context.xml file here. So that's why I have placed all this content here, and I'll use this repository in order to show you complete end-to-end example. So now what we'll do, we'll firstly go to Sonatype Nexus, and here we'll create one repository. So we'll go to firstly the setting icon and then repository, and here we'll click on create repository. Here we are going to use Maven hosted repository, and we need to give some repository name here. So let's give it as test repository, and we're going to use version policy as snapshot, and rest it's test repository, yeah, and rest will make no changes and we'll just create this repository. So here we can see that repository has been created. It is type hosted, format Maven 2, blob stores default, and its status is online. So we'll upload our artifact on this particular repository. So now this is done. What we need to do, we firstly need to go to Jenkins, and here we need to go to manage Jenkins. There we need to go to plugins, and in this plugin we need to go to available plugins, and we need to search for Nexus plugin, because it is required in order to integrate it with Jenkins. So Nexus Artifact Uploader is the plugin. Just click it and install it. So once this plugin will get installed, we'll able to see Nexus in our Nexus documentation page of Jenkins, so that we can generate its syntax. So now we can see that Nexus has been installed. So one thing is done. Now we'll go to manage Jenkins, and as Nexus piece is done, second thing what we need to do, we need to install a plugin related to SonarQube. So we'll go to manage Jenkins, we'll go to plugins, and we'll go to available plugins. We'll search for Sonar. It's a SonarQube scanner. So click on it and install it. So these two plugins are required in order to integrate firstly Nexus with Jenkins and then SonarQube with Jenkins. So this plugin is also installed now. So what we can do now, we can go to dashboard, and here we'll create one sample pipeline job. So we'll go here, and here we'll give any name. I usually give this test name, because my code is created according to this. And then we'll select pipeline as job. We'll click on OK. So this is done. We don't need to do any changes. We simply go to this pipeline section, and here we'll click on hello world sample. So this is the sample code that we are going to use in our pipeline. So as I was explaining in slide, that pipeline, agent any, everything is written here. Just we need to modify this code. So we'll copy it, and then we'll take a notepad, we'll paste it here, and our first stage is going to be a checkout code stage. So we'll change name of the stage as checkout code. Okay, so this is done. Steps, I told you that I'll generate steps related to that. So what I'll do for that, just scroll it little bit. There is a pipeline syntax link, click on it. So this is the pipeline syntax link. So here we'll see checkout related one option, so that is checkout from version control. So just click on it, and it's a git based SEM, so that is good. And what is the repository URL that we can take from our repository? So this is basically the URL. We can copy it and then we can place it here. Because it's a public repository, so it will not ask for any credential. So just click on it, and then we need to check what branch we are going to clone. So we'll go to the repository, and the branch is main main branch. So we'll go there and we'll change master to main. So now this is done. We don't need to do any further additional step. We'll click on generate pipeline script, and this is the command that we were looking. So we don't need to get bothered that from where this particular command is getting populated. So we'll just simply place it here, and this is our first stage complete. So what we'll do, we'll just copy it and we'll try and test whether this is working or not. So we'll remove our old code and we'll place this code here, and we'll click on save. And if we'll click on build now, so if there is any error, it will not execute, but if it is error free, it will get execute. So as we can see that there is a green tick, and first stage checkout code is completely done. So we'll go to this number one job, then we'll go to console output, and here we can see that started by admin. Why it is admin? Because I'm an admin user, so it is giving started by user admin, and running on Jenkins in var lib Jenkins workspace test. So that's why I was using this directory structure, because this is the common path, and after that the name of the job that we have given to our pipeline, that populated here, that I took as test. So that's why this path is coming, and it is saying that no get credential is specified, and it performed an git init command, and after that we can see finished success. So let's see whether the similar code is getting populated to this particular directory or not. So we'll go to our machine and we'll do a cd, and then we'll do a list command. So here you can see that complete code is here with this address book folder, content.xml, and your tomcat-user.xml file. So first stage is completely done without any headache, just using the sample code provided from Jenkins side. So now what we'll do again, we'll again go to this particular job, we'll go to configure section, and here one stage is complete. Now we need to do the second stage where we want to install Maven. So for that, what we need to do, we'll just copy this stage again. So what we need to do, we can copy only stage. So these two braces are one braces for stages, one braces for pipeline. So keep them as it is, copy it and just paste it here. Okay, so this is our second stage. We can give it as install Maven build tool. So install Maven build tool. Okay, and we don't need this command because this is a checkout command, so we don't need it. We can remove this command. So now we can copy the installation of Maven, which is basically nothing, just two shell commands we need to execute. As it is a Linux machine, so we need to use sh, which is basically shell command for installing Maven build tool. So firstly we'll install the binary, then we'll do an untar of that binary. So command I have used in one of my notepad, so that I'll use here. So this is the command for downloading your Maven binary. So I'll place this file also on my repository so that you can take it and you can use similar command. So one command is this. Now we need to do an untar of this particular tar. So in second command we'll do the same. So that command is tar-xzvf. So x is basically extract, z is basically for zip to unzip, and v is for verbose, f is for forcefully. So we'll use it here as it is, and now our second stage is also complete for installing Maven tool. So what we'll do, we'll remove this code, we'll place this new code, and now we are having two stage, one for checkout code, one for installing Maven build tool. So get save it and do a build now, and let's see whether this works or not. So as it is running, so it means our syntax is correct and it is going to install Maven build tool. So we'll go to this job, we'll go to console output, and in the end we can see that it is installing everything here, and then it is doing an untar of this thing, and this job is success. So now if we'll go to same directory and if we'll do an ls-lr rth, so here we can see Apache Maven directory. So it means that Maven binaries are also placed here. So this was the tar and zip file, and this is after untarring and unzipping. So we are good with the second stage also. Now what we'll do, we'll extend our pipeline. So now we'll introduce a third stage here. So just copy this stage and place it here. So here the next stage will be compilation of source code. Compilation, or we can say compile source code. Okay, and now we don't need these steps. Rather, what we need to do, we firstly need to add an dir block, because we want to get that executed from this particular directory where we are having pom.xml file. So we'll place this dir block, we'll do a single quote here, we'll start an angle brace, and then we'll end an angle brace here. Okay, and now what we'll do, we'll firstly see the structure of our code. So here we can see address book. So what I told you is that inside this we firstly need to find out source folder. There is no source folder, so we'll go to this folder and let's see whether we are having source folder here or not. Yes, so this is the source folder we'll use, and this is the pom.xml file that we are going to use. So let's see what is inside the source folder. So it should be having two folder, main and test folder. So yes, main and test folder. So main is basically having Java code, and test is having test cases for this particular to execute on this particular Java code. So this is the code, but one thing that I told you is that we need to execute this command where we are having the pom.xml file. Okay, so our pom.xml file is under this directory where we are having source folder also. Okay, so we need to just take this path and we need to put this path in our dir directory from where we want to execute that command, and here we just need to write one command. So that will be an sh command, and in this command we need to execute maven command. So now let's see where where our Maven is actually currently. So we'll go to the test directory, and here we are having this Maven. So we'll go inside this Maven directory. Let's see whether we are having the bin directory. So we are having bin also here. So this is this is bin. And here we need to see whether we are having mvn here. Yes, we are having mvn here. So we'll do a pwd. We'll take this path and we'll place it here. And after that we'll place mvn, and our compilation command will be mvn compile. So now we are sitting on pom.xml directory and we are executing compilation of code. So let's copy this code, paste in your job. So go to this particular job, go to configure, and here just remove the old code and just place this code. So we have copied the complete code, right? Yes. So now we'll save it and we'll do a build now and check whether the syntax is correct or not. So yes, it is executing. It means that syntactically it is correct. And let's see during compilation how it is downloading the dependencies. So here you are seeing that it is saying downloading from this particular directory, downloading from repo Maven. So it is now downloading the dependencies related to Maven compilation stage. So in order to compile your code, there are certain dependencies required on your machine. So if those dependencies are not there, Maven just get it download from repo Maven, and once they are available, then Maven will perform the compilation piece on this source code. So once this compilation is complete, then we'll see a target directory. Inside that we'll see the classes folder, which is having .class files inside it. So it is still downloading dependencies related to that. So let's see once these dependencies download piece is complete. Yeah, it is done now. So now it is compiling the source code and we can see that build success message. So here we'll see one directory structure also, that compiling 13 source code from var lib Jenkins workspace test book main target, and the target classes is getting generated now. So how we'll get it test? We'll go to the same directory, that was a test directory, and here we'll go to address book first, and then we'll go again to the address book main. And here initially we were only seeing source directory, now we are seeing target directory also. So inside this target directory, if we'll go, then we'll see that classes folder is there, and there are certain dependencies also which are related to that dependencies piece get download from repo.maven. So in this way we have done compilation of our code. So we'll remain here and we'll see what next is getting happen once we'll do testing piece. So for testing we don't need to do much effort, just copy this stage, okay, place this stage here, just change the name of the stage because we cannot make two stages with same name, otherwise it will not get work in Jenkins, it will give you an error. So we just need to change the test source code, and then we need to change the command with mvn test. And what we can do, we can now copy it and we can again go to our test code, then configure, and then we can control A, just select it and just paste the new code with the test source code and save it, and did a build now. So now we'll notice two things here. So it is working, it means syntactically it is correct, and compilation piece took 57 seconds last time. So this time it is very fast because dependencies related to compilation is available, but testing is taking time because it is now doing downloading of dependencies related to testing. So now all those things are getting downloaded, and this is also success. We can see build is successful, and here it is saying that 23 test cases run, there were no failure, no errors, and script is 0. And here we can see one more thing. Okay, we can see on this particular machine that one new folder will get generated here. So till now we are having only classes inside target. Now we'll be having surefire-reports here. Yeah, so this is basically the folder that is having test case related results here as a report. So anybody who want to analyze that report can analyze it using this particular folder, and some other dependencies related to test is also get downloaded. So Maven actually works in this way, as it download the dependencies and then perform the command. So now we are done with testing of our code. So we'll not do packaging because that is not the correct step as of now. So what we need to do, we just need to perform SonarQube analysis or code analysis, we can say, using SonarQube. We need to get it performed. So we'll copy this stage, okay, and then we'll place it here. And here what we'll do the stage name as code analysis, okay, and this directory will remain same. We don't need to do anything, only the command will get changed. So we need to do certain modification related to code analysis or using the SonarQube URL. So we need to go firstly to the Jenkins dashboard. So here we need to go to manage Jenkins, and in system we need to do add the SonarQube server to this particular system configuration. So what we'll do, we'll scroll it down, and here we'll see one section related to SonarQube server. So we'll click on this environment variables because we are going to use it. We'll do an add SonarQube piece here. Name we can give Sonar or any name of your choice, and we'll be using this particular name. So just remember this name, and then we need to provide SonarQube URL. So this is basically the SonarQube URL. So we'll copy it till port number we need to copy, as it is mentioned in the instruction that http localhost :port. So we'll remove the backslash, we'll keep it as it is, and here we need to add one token. So let's generate one token from here. So we'll go to this admin piece, go to my account, and here we'll go to security. There we can give any name of your choice. We can do a user token 30 days and generate. So we'll copy it, and then we'll go to system configuration section, and it is as of now having none, and it is also not allowing us. So we'll do a save, and again we'll go to manage Jenkins, go to system, scroll down till SonarQube section, and here we'll click on this add button. Now it is giving Jenkins credential provider. So we'll do a secret text as a selection, and secret will place it here that we copied, and we'll give it a name sonar hyphen token as an ID. So this is done. We can go for add. It is saying credential created. We'll select it, and then we'll save it. Okay, so we are now done with SonarQube addition using that token. Now we'll go again to this documentary piece, and here we'll search whether anything we are having for Sonar. So we are having anything related to Sonar. There is SonarQube related one function. So I need to check that function. Yes, it is with SonarQube environment here. So we need to get it select, and we need to select the token piece here. It is saying cannot find the credential, leave it. We don't have an issue with it. Just generate the pipeline script. So this is the block that we are going to use. So we'll copy it, okay, and we'll place in our pipeline. So we're not going to use this sh command here. We'll just place that block or the function that was given, and let's make it in correct way so that we can modify it. Okay, so now this is the code that we are going to use, and in some block section, what is the block we are going to use? So for that we need to go to Sonar portal, we need to go to projects, and here we need to go to create new project. Here we'll create one project, suppose test-project, branches main, click on next, use global settings, create project, and then we are going to use analyze your repository using Jenkins. We'll click on GitHub, and then we need to select Maven here. It will give us some code. So this is basically the block code that we are going to use. So we'll copy it. This is copied now, and then we'll place it in some block section. Okay, but certain modification, as I told you that we need to do certain modification. So what we'll do, this is not our Maven directory. What is our Maven directory? We'll remove it and we'll copy our Maven directory. So Maven is here for our setup. So we'll copy it and we'll place it here. So now we are having complete command related to SonarQube, but this SonarQube is also having one more parameter. So when we'll execute it, we'll be having one error. So let's copy this code and try executing. We'll see that error. So we'll go to our job, we'll go to configure, then we'll copy this code here. So now we are having one more stage, code analysis, or we can make it as SonarQube also. We can write SonarQube. Okay, so we are done now. We can save it, and if we'll click on build now, so it should throw some error. Yes, so we can see that it is giving a red cross. So this error let us know that okay, we need to pass something else also. So it is saying that there is one missing required parameter, installation name. Okay, so it is saying one parameter, installation name, is also required here. So in with SonarQube environment, credential ID is there, and we need to also part installation name. So what we'll do, we'll go to our code. Okay, and let's add SonarQube here also. SonarQube, we are good. We need to add one more function here. So place a comma and then space, and what it was saying that we need to place the installation name. So we'll copy it and we'll place it here, colon, and what is the name of that installation name? It is the name that we have given during setup of SonarQube. So we'll go to manage Jenkins system, and there I think I have placed Sonar. So the name of the server is Sonar. Okay, so we'll be using the same. So here we'll give the name as Sonar. Okay, so in this way we have done now code analysis using SonarQube. So that is also done. So we'll copy it and then we'll go to our job, and then we'll go to configure, we'll remove the old code and we'll place the new code, and let's see whether this particular addition works or not. Okay, so we'll do save and then we'll do build now. Okay, so looks like it is working now. So that was the error that it was giving, that it needs one more parameter as an installation name. So we'll use that installation name and then we'll see whether it works or not. So now it is testing, and post testing it is now doing code analysis using SonarQube. So it will do something we can see from here. As we are using mvn clean verify command, so again it will perform the compilation testing again, and once that is done, then it will perform the analysis and we can see those results on our SonarQube portal. So it is now doing something related to SonarQube. So we can see it here that it is saying that 20 file indexed, and it is analyzing that code. The Java analyzer cannot skip unchanged files in the context. So some kind of analysis it is performing to our code, and once that analysis is done, we'll be able to see the result on our SonarQube portal. So here it is saying analysis is successful. You can find result under test project. So if we'll go to test project, if we'll go to project, so here we can see that analysis is completely placed here. How many bugs are there, vulnerabilities, hotspots reviewed, code smells, code coverage, duplication. And if we'll click on this project, so it will give us that quality gate is passed, and all the things related to the analysis we can see on this particular SonarQube console. So in this way we are now done with our analysis piece also using SonarQube. After that we'll build our code because it is now successfully done, and now we need to package our code so that we can see whether that war file is getting built or not, or we don't actually need to do the packaging section here because code analysis already ambient clean verify command already done that packaging piece also, so that we can verify from here that till now we were having only surefire reports. And if we'll do ls-lrth, so here we'll see that build is also okay. Just a minute, where we are. Okay, so as of now that is getting used with that SonarQube analysis, and if we'll see the logs here, so here we'll see that output. So it is not displaying there, but give me a minute. It did that building of war also, that I'll show you here. Before SonarQube it did that. Yes, so here you can see that at this particular directory it has just generated this particular war, and it has performed analysis on that particular war over there. Okay, so we are now at that directory. So I think last time we were on certain different directory, so that's why it was not giving that. So now we have done this ls-lrth, and we are seeing that that packaging piece is done by itself because that ambient clean verify command do compilation, testing and packaging. And here we are seeing the sonar folder also. So by using this particular failsafe reports, it analyze the report and generate those reports to the sonar portal. So in this way we are now done with this code analysis piece also, and after that packaging is also done, now we can do a nexus of or what we can say artifact upload related thing. So what we'll do in order to upload the artifact, we'll just copy this stage because previous stage was having this function, so unnecessarily no need to copy that thing here, and just place it here in this stage. And here we can see the name we can do publish artifacts to Nexus. Okay, and directory we need to do it here, and in this directory we need to provide the directory where we were having this particular var. So we were having under target, so I have given the same directory till target. Okay, and we don't need to use this command. We'll generate this command from the command portal of Jenkins. So we'll go to Jenkins, we'll go to test job, or we can go to pipeline syntax. Here now we'll search for Nexus. So there will be some artifact upload, Nexus artifact upload. We'll select it. The version of Nexus is Nexus 3 we have installed. Token protocol is HTTP, and URL is the URL of our Nexus. So this is basically the URL. So we can copy this URL and we can place it here. Okay, and we can remove this HTTP because it is not required. We have given it above, and we can also remove this slash. So we are done. And credential, now we need to add one credential for Nexus also. So we can add Nexus credential here with a username or password. So I'll give admin credential here. Okay, and ID will give Nexus hyphen connection. Okay, and I'll add, and now I'll select with this, and then we need to give a group ID. So group ID will be just like this. We can ask this to developers also, and we can see it in pom.xml file also. So in this way we provide it. Syntactically it should be like this. Version we can give like it to be 2.1.1 hyphen snapshot, and what all these parameters we are providing, we'll see the same on Nexus portal repository. So it will be the name of the repository that we have created over there. So we have created test repository. So test repository we can also verify it is the test repository. So we'll be using test repository, and then we need to add artifacts. So artifact ID we can give any ID. We can give test artifact ID here. Type it should be var, and classifier we can leave it as it is. File will be address book.var. That is done, and I think we don't have anything else. What is this? It is another artifact. We don't need this. We can just generate the syntax. So this is basically the syntax that we are going to use as a command in our pipeline. Just copy it and place it here. Okay, so now we'll copy this complete section of code and we'll place it in our pipeline. So we'll go to configure, we'll select it, remove it, paste it. So this is the complete code. Now if we'll save it, and if we'll do a build now, so it is now getting started. So stages till code analysis should work fine because we have seen them previously also. And now we need to see whether artifacts are getting uploaded on Nexus or not. So we need to just wait for some time. Okay, so testing is complete, compilation is complete, and then now it is doing code analysis piece. So that we have seen it done successfully in the last job number 6. So let's wait for some time and see whether artifacts are getting uploaded or not. So it is still doing this code analysis related to SonarQube. It may take some time because these steps were lengthy. So analysis takes some time because it analyzes complete code. So we are waiting for Nexus artifact upload. Okay, so this is done now. It is publishing artifacts to Nexus, and this stage is also successful. So let's see whether it is there on our repository or not. So we'll go to browse, and then we'll go to browse, we'll go to repository, and here you can see that complete structure is like that: com test app that I give as group ID. After that, this was the artifact ID, this was the version that I given, and inside this version we can see that test artifact 2.1.1, and this is particular the date, then time, and then .var. So in this way we have uploaded the artifact here also, and here we can see artifact related information that it is basically 33 MB file, and it is uploader as an admin containing repository is test repository, uses Apache Maven, and everything related to this file is provided here. So in this way we have uploaded our artifacts through Nexus also. Now what we need to do, we need to extend our pipeline, and we need to install Tomcat server, and then we need to deploy our application. So for that we need to add 3 more stage, and that I'll copy from one of my notepad where I have taken these 3 stages, so that in order to save the time, so just copy it and paste it. So I'll share this complete code so that you'll also be able to install it. So what we are doing here, it's basically a Tomcat prerequisite installation. So firstly it will install Java because that is a prerequisite of your Apache Tomcat, and then it will install Apache Tomcat, and it will change the port, it will copy the files from the repository and will replace on this directory, and then it will deploy our addressbook.var to this particular web apps directory. So now we'll copy this complete code, and we'll go to Jenkins, we'll go to configure, and here we'll remove, and then we'll paste the new code. So we'll save it, and then we'll do a build now. So this time it will install Apache Tomcat also, and it will also install the application to that Apache Tomcat, and now we'll see really how this application looks like, and whether it completes our end-to-end example or not. So let's see what happens after publishing artifacts to Nexus, because till there we have seen that it is successfully done. So now we need to see whether it works for installation of Tomcat and then sample application deployment also. So just wait for some time. So code analysis usually takes some times, but publish artifacts to Nexus will not take that much time. And after that we'll see that whether Tomcat is getting installed successfully or not. Okay, so code analysis is done, publishing artifacts to Nexus, it is also done. Now it is doing Tomcat prerequisite installation, and it is also done. It is installing Apache Tomcat server now. So let's wait for some time. After that it will do deployment of application. Okay, so installation of Apache Tomcat server is also done, and sample application deployment is also done. So now how we'll access this particular Tomcat server? So I have installed complete setup on this Azure machine. So we'll go to that machine, and in this machine we'll copy this URL, and then we'll place it here, and we'll get it access using 8082 port. So yes, our Apache Tomcat is also running now. We can go to manager app. It will require credentials, so it will be there in our tomcat-users.xml file. So we'll place it here. Okay. Okay, so I forgot the name. Oh, so no worries. We'll go to our GitHub, and then we'll see what is there in this file. So here it will tell us what is there. So here I'm having, this is the username and this is the password. Okay. password. Yes. So now we are able to log in, and this is our application as an address book. If we'll click on it, so this is basically the application that is accessible. So this is an address book application which is having first name and last name of the user along with the email. So if we'll go on new contact, and if we'll add the first name, last name we can give here, any phone number we can give. There is no checking in this application. Any email ID we can give, there is no checking, and the birth date we can give any. And once this is given, we can click on save. So on the top we are seeing like the one that we have given first name, last name, and the test, it is here. And if we'll click on it, it will take it to this prompt again, and if we'll change it with suppose new name, and if we'll save it, so now new name is coming here and last name is the same, and test@test.com is same. So guys, this is complete end-to-end example from calling code from your source code repository, then performing testing, compilation, and code review section using SonarQube. And once the packaging is done using that, the artifact upload piece to Nexus is also done. And then how to install that application to a server. So installation of Tomcat server is also automated in this pipeline. So guys, I'm done with today's video. I hope you liked this video and you understood the complete concept of this CI/CD pipeline using Jenkins, SonarQube, Nexus, Tomcat, Maven. And if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video.